We're back on another edition of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. It's Jonathon Howe with you once again, here to talk all things dirt happening in and around Southern Ontario. This show, of course, brought to you by Vansicle Pet Value and Lundy's Lane Pet Value. Don't forget to stop by and grab your race tickets for Saturday nights at Maryville Speedway from the store's locations, either at the corner of Lundy's Lane and Kayla Road in Niagara Falls or at 420 Vansicle Road in St. Catharines. I was there today grabbing cat food, and of course I would have grabbed my race tickets, but I'm up in the tower regardless on Saturday nights, and I'm so excited to be back there. We'll get into all things Maryville coming up and some of the other things ongoing, but first off, this is episode 96. This is the Freddie Carleton episode, and one of these days I'm going to track down Freddie. We've talked about having him on in the past, but he said he's not really much for talking and doing interviews, and that's fair. That's fine. We also get a great look at Freddie and kind of behind the scenes with all the things going on with the Oldest Dirt Racing YouTube channel and all the show stuff that they've done there. So anybody who wants to learn more about Freddie Carleton and his personality and stuff, I'd say go and check that channel out. Definitely what I would recommend going and doing. Now, not much to talk about on this particular week for its shows in terms of actual racing action, because pretty much everything got rained out last weekend. Maryville, rained out. Ashweekend, rained out. Ransomville, tried to go, rained out. So, I guess we'll just dive into some of the major stuff that happened. And we'll start our Southern Ontario Dirt Show race report with the Summer Nationals from Ransomville Speedway, because they got their big block race in on Tuesday night. I was there in attendance. We'll have a full breakdown of that coming up, but it was won by St. Catharines' own Matt Williamson. Stuart Friesen ended up on the podium behind Matt Shepard in the third spot. Gary Lindberg of Ridgeway comes home with a sixth place finish in this one. Dalton Slack up inside the top 10 as well in ninth, and Felix Waugh inside the top 15 with a solid 13th place finish. Now, move over to the Short Track Super Series. Not much going on there. They've been off since Cornwall back on August 7th, but they are racing at Georgetown next Tuesday, August 27th. So watch for that. Now, the World of Outlaws, they got a couple races in since we've last talked, including two events at the Jackson Motorplex. And first one, won by Carson Macedo, picks up the win over Sheldon Hanschild. David Gravel with the podium spot. Aaron Rutzel and Logan Schuhart round out your top five in that one. Then on the Saturday night, Donnie Schatz gets back to victory lane ahead of Sheldon. Gravel third again. Pretty much a repeat of second, third, and fourth with Rutzel in fourth. And then it was Emerson Axum finishing in the fifth spot, picking up a top five in that one. As far as the World of Outlaws driver points go, not much has changed. David Gravel still at the top of the table by 106 points over Donnie Schatz, Carson Macedo, Gio Selzy, and Michael Kofoid round out your top five in World of Outlaws sprint car driver points. Now coming up on their schedule, they're racing tonight as I speak, actually, on this Friday night down in Grand Forks, North Dakota. They are there, and then West Fargo, North Dakota, the next night at Red River Valley Speedway, River City Speedway, Red River Valley Speedway. Those two events happening this weekend. Now over to the high limits, a couple races to catch up on, including the King Speedway event that happened back on August 16th. Tyler Courtney picks up the win ahead of Rico Abreu and Brad Sweet. Cole Macedo, James McFadden round out the top five in that one. Back to Placerville Speedway for the Gold Rush Classic the next night, August 17th, and that was won by James McFadden. And Justin Sanders came home with a solid top three in second spot. Corey Day rounds out the podium spots. Andy Forsberg and Corey Ellison round out the top five total in that one. One more to talk about from Silver Dollar Speedway. It was the Mike Curb 70th Gold Cup Race of Champions presented by Napa Auto Parts, and it was won by Corey Day ahead of Spencer Baston, Chase Johnson, Chris Wyndham, and Shane Golobeck rounds out your top five. Championship points, Brad Sweet still out in front, just doing just enough to keep himself ahead by roughly 110 points ahead of Tyler Courtney. Based on quick math, I think it's a little bit bigger than that. That kind of wraps up everything that there is to kind of touch on in terms of the major stuff happening in the world of dirt and stuff that we care about around here in Southern Ontario. As I speak right now, they are racing at Oshweekend. I have no updates on it. I haven't been able to watch just yet, but I plan to tune in as soon as I get off this broadcast. Now, as far as racing goes going forward, hopefully we're getting the show in tomorrow at Maryville Speedway. Weather looks good as of right now, which I'm super ready to be back because I've had a long 2 weeks off with a family event and then getting rained out last week. It's time to get back and be be home. The short track season, the dirt track season is quickly coming to a close here. Things are getting real wrapped up real quick. Of course, we have a big one as well on the Sunday. It is the Pete Costco Memorial happening at Humberstone. Final Pete Costco Memorial at Humberstone. Final trip to Humberstone for the modifieds, I believe, too. If I have my stats correct here and my schedule correct in my brain. But looking forward to getting back there and watching some racing action this Sunday. I wasn't sure if I was going to go or not, but with the 10th annual Pete Costco Memorial and likely the final trip out, I was like, I gotta go, right? So 358 modifieds, ROC Sportsman, Street Stocks, Mini Stocks, Mud Light, and Vintage Cars. It's a 6-class night. Bit long, but it'll be fun. Racing starts at 6:30 p.m. on the Sunday, and hopefully we'll see you there. I'd love to see it, another packed house for that one. I think, Humberstone definitely deserves to go out with a bang, and this is a very special moment. Last year was obviously super special with Jordan Costco winning the Sportsman event. Had him on the show alongside his crew chief last year. It was a really cool interview. You can go back and find that episode. It was one of my favorites that we've ever done. So I'm hoping for another great night to talk about on Sunday night. Of course, great racing to talk about on Saturday. In terms of great racing to talk about from the Summer Nationals, well, that's a bit of a divisive topic, okay? Bit divisive. Why do I say it's divisive? Well, it's because not everybody thought this was a good race. Even the winner kind of was like, well, you couldn't pass. It was whatever. It wasn't a great reflection of Ransomville Speedway. And it wasn't truly. Like, Matt Williamson he drew the pole. He led all 75 laps. He took care of business. Still, I believe, lost 2 points in the championship because Matt Shepard was quick time on the night, so got the 5 bonus points. So even with the win, I think he did lose 10 points to Shepard. I think he came into the night 34 or 32 back and now leaves 34 back. So he's still got some ground to make up on the one-win Shepard, which is super weird to say, but in 12 features, 11 top 10s, that's going to definitely help you get a fantastic run in the points, and 10 top 5s for Shepard as well. So Williamson's still going to need some work to do, but did the best he could to minimize the damage after not getting quick time. If you weren't at Summer Nationals, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, it was, yes, a one-lane racetrack around Ransomville. Some rain earlier in the day kind of affected the ability for track crews to make that one set up, and it was just weird to see. But as much as people were complaining, like, I still enjoyed it from my vantage point in the crowd. Yes, there wasn't a lot of passing, but I just got invested into the battles and where Matt Williamson was catching lap traffic and how he was going to get around it and who was going to move over for him and who wasn't. And if they didn't move over for him, how was that going to affect, Shepard drawing in on him and Stuart Friesen drawing in on him? It was a unique race in the sense that I feel as though it wasn't necessarily a traditional like passing event and people could come and go and work their way forward and all that sort of stuff. Like that just wasn't necessarily how it played out, but it was still a lot of fun. I don't know. Maybe I just like racing too much, or maybe I've just been watching too much Formula One over the time and I've just gotten used to watching races where there's not a lot of passing. There's a lot of complaining about it online. I see multiple groups talking about modified racing in Western New York and the tracks and how there's no great racing and all this. People got to learn to stop complaining. Like, back in the day when you wanted to yell and scream about racing, it was because you were watching like Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain on a Sunday night and you were on your couch and maybe you got a chance to call into the show. Or maybe you just had to listen to dumb callers and you would scream at the dumb callers, and the only person that heard you was maybe your wife, maybe your kids, or maybe your dog or cat or whatever, or you just were yelling into the void that was your own house. That was the way it was. Now everybody does that yelling on Facebook in the comment section, and it's not productive. It doesn't help these tracks out, doesn't help the drivers out, doesn't help the series out, and the more you guys bitch and moan and complain, the more we're just going to risk losing racetracks and losing series and losing sponsorship dollars and all of this. The negative impacts are so great. But what stops you from finding something positive to talk about? Like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about that race, and yeah, it was a bit boring. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of passing. There was still race cars going around a racetrack. There was still a lot of strategy. There was a lot of driver racecraft on display at times. You know, I had the chance to talk with Gary Lindberg after the race, and I'm going to cut this into the portion of the show coming up right here. But there was one point in the race where he was running fourth, and he had a lap car between himself and Stuart Friesen. He's trying to keep pace with Friesen, and he tries to make a move on the outside, goes off the bottom to make the move on the lap car, and he got freight trained by two cars, falls back to sixth. Was Gary the sixth fastest car there? I don't think so. I think he was the fourth fastest car, fourth fastest driver there, probably at Ransomville on Tuesday night in the Super DIRTcar Series. Maybe. But you make that decision, you make that call, and you pay for the consequences of it all. And I had a chance to ask him about that and talk about the move, and he had to do something. He wasn't going to just pass Stuart Friesen by letting lap cars create a gap between himself and the 44. He had to go and run him down and chase him down and do what he could, and it didn't work out for him, and that's okay. But at least it was something, and he tried it, and that was interesting, and that's part of racecraft. And I bet you now Gary's going to put that in the back of his mind, and next time he's in a similar situation, maybe he doesn't go for it. Or maybe if he does go for it, he learns how to get back to the bottom quicker. I don't know. It was awesome to see, though. Here's Gary Lindberg on after the racing on Tuesday night at Ransomville. Standing by after a pretty solid night here at the Big R as part of the Ron Martin Summer Nationals with Gary Lindberg. Gary, thanks for coming on the pod. Thanks for doing this. Tough night, a lot of hard racing out there trying to make passes. What was the race like from your vantage point?
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it would be 2 lanes early, so I tried the top, and Shepard slid me and got me right away, and then Friesen got me too, so then I dropped down to the bottom and followed Friesen for 40 laps or whatever it was, and then Larry was a lap car, and Friesen struggled getting by him, and then I followed him for, I don't know, probably 20 laps, 25, 30 laps, whatever it was. And then he seemed like he was making a couple mistakes, and I was hearing ghosts thinking somebody was going to go around me, so I tried to get around him and lost 2 spots in the end there. I know him better, but I'm kind of new at this big block racing, so I stepped out of line, lost 2 spots, and then we dropped back in. So it was still an all-right night for us.
Still an all-right night. And I'm wondering from the driver's perspective, when you're getting a 1-lane racetrack like this and you got as much lap traffic, when you're 4th, 5th, 6th in line, would you rather be racing in that lap traffic? Is that your only shot to try to maybe make up a place on a guy? Or would you almost rather have a restart where you can maybe get some clean racetrack to get a good run going?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the lap traffic would help too, because when I dropped to the bottom, I could hang with Stuart, and I was right behind him. So he tried the top a couple of times, but I couldn't get enough to get under him. And then, you kind of hope for a restart, but is a restart going to help me or is it going to hurt me and I'm going to lose a spot? Depends if you start on the top or the bottom, really. So, I don't know. It's just the way it is. I was surprised it locked down that early, but we're just glad to be here, no damage, and we need 3 new tires for the next race.
Yeah, and as far as Saturday nights have been going, the month of July was really kind to you on Merrittville as well. Just talk to us about the 358 program. Kind of in the catbird seat, it feels like, for the championship over there.
Yeah, we started rolling over there. The track was real fast and heavy for a couple weeks there, and then it burned up a little bit, and it's been better racing. There hasn't been wrecks. We got in a couple bad wrecks. We had some breakdowns, but months of July and August, we've had some good runs, and I think 3 or 4 wins in a second. So it's really rolling there. We're looking forward to Saturday and even Sunday at Humberstone Speedway.
Keep it rolling into September. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Folks from Van Sickle Pet Value and PV on the Lane aren't just fans of your favorite four-legged friends, they are race fans too. That's why Jeff and Rhonda Riley, as well as their staff, have teamed up with Merrittville Speedway to make your race day experience more convenient. Race fans can now pick up tickets for race nights while grabbing the highest quality food, treats, toys, and accessories for their pets from the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls locations.
Beat the box office and the crowds. Their support of local racing doesn't just stop with you, the race fan. Catch the Van Sickle Pet Value PV on the Lane 4 cylinders racing at Merrittville Speedway throughout the 2024 season.
Check out Van Sickle Pet Value across from Best Buy and Walmart on 4th Avenue in St. Catharines, and PV on the Lane at the corner of Kayla Road and Lundy's Lane, Highway 20. So that was Gary Lindberg. I was hoping to catch up with more drivers, but I learned an important lesson for anybody out there who's listening that wants to either get into media or wants to be able to talk to drivers and do more reporting on motorsports in general. Make sure you sign up for the media passes earlier in the year. Don't wait until the last minute. I waited till the last minute because I wasn't sure with my work schedule and how everything was going to shake out if I was going to be able to get to Ransomville. I did end up being able to get there, but the night before is not enough time for you to get out to Dirt and be like, hey, I'm from so-and-so and I'm coming to watch the race and report on it. So I didn't get any media access, which means I wasn't able to get back to the pit area until after the Sportsman event, which, if you missed, there was a really large crash in the Sportsman event that caused a lengthy red flag that allowed a lot of the big block guys to get out and get home a little earlier in the night. So by the time I got over there, there wasn't a whole lot of drivers to talk to from the Super DIRTcar Series. I caught up with Gary. I was chatting with Matt Williams, and off the mic and off the record, didn't have a chance to actually grab him for an interview, but I'm hoping to have him on for maybe a full-length one coming up here in the not-too-distant future as the season starts to wind down. I feel like it's time to catch up with Matty, so we'll hopefully get to that. He had to run over, and he went over to the tech barn to see what was going on after the Sportsman race because Cody McPherson pulls off the win, finds a way to pass on a track that was very hard to pass on, but Cody's got that 7-car working good. So good that some people thought maybe the engine was a little illegal, and they protested. And nothing came of it. I mean, I don't want to say it was pointless because I understand if you're the team, you want to figure out why are we getting beat so badly or whatever, but at the end of the day, everything came back good. I'm looking at the press release here from DIRTcar on Tuesday evening, August 20th, 2024. Cody McPherson, DIRTcar Sportsman Series winner at the Ransomville Speedway, had his GM crate engine pulled for further technical inspection. The motor was taken to Enders Racing Engines Inc. in Phoenix, New York, an authorized DIRTcar verification facility on the morning of August 21st. The motor passed all inspections and measurements. The motor was returned to the race team and was paid full purse monies and bonuses. Both Mike Welch and Dean Reynolds were present for the inspection process. So there you have it. That's it. It's a legal motor. Everybody who wants to bitch online and complain and kind of find some drama, you're going to have to find something else on Cody McPherson. Maybe there is something. I don't know. I know nothing. Literally. I couldn't tell you if I saw an illegal part or didn't because that's not my job. My job is just to talk about the racing. And again, at the end of the day, I feel like everybody just wants to complain rather than just recognize greatness and enjoy this run. And if you're somebody else who's getting your butt beat regularly by Cody McPherson, wait till you get by him and win one of these and knock off the feeling, Telling me Tyler Pacholski doesn't feel great that he was able to beat Cody twice at Merrittville. I'm sure he feels awesome about that. He's the only person who gets to say he beat Cody McPherson at Merrittville yet this year. That's pretty awesome. That feels good. That hard work, it pays off. There's luck involved in racing. We all know that. There's obviously drivers and teams that push the envelope and find different things to, maybe dip their toe in the gray area, maybe dip past the gray area ultimately altogether. That's okay. That's what racing is. There was obviously that whole deal with Gavro and there was obviously that whole deal that went down with the new gen engine thing, and that again I think is another reason why Cody McPherson may have been protested his affiliation with new gen in the past. I'm not an engine guy. I'm not going to be able to sit here and tell you what was illegal, what was not illegal, what was bad about it. I texted my old co-host Travis Cunningham about coming on and talking about it, and he kind of had the same thing. Everybody just wants to talk about the drama. Everyone wants this juice. Everyone wants to hear about all the illegal stuff. They don't want to celebrate the positivities, and I don't know. I just don't really want to participate in that. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I just see racing for more than it is. But I think at the end of the day, we got to enjoy what we have while we have it and focus on the positives and the fact that there's going to be racing this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I don't really care about engines. I don't care about people cheating. I just want to go and see some good racing. Now, if somebody goes out there and beats everybody by a mile, and it's because he has 20 more horsepower, we'll have the conversation. But you got to catch him. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with the drama. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in good racing and good conversations and supporting local dirt tracks, because at the end of the day, you can complain all you want online. You can make accusations. You can pop off in a comment section. But if you don't go out and spend your hard-earned money at these facilities and supporting the racing, heck, even show up to boo. You really don't like somebody? Boo them. Pay the $20 just so that when they win or finish second or they get some mic time, whatever it is, boo. As long as you're supporting the racing. Because one day, if none of us are supporting it and all we're doing is bitching and moaning online, there's going to be no racing. That's going to suck. So that's just kind of where my head's at this week. Didn't have any time to schedule an interview. I've been super busy covering some extra shifts at Hits FM, wedding planning stuff, running around for all that. I did, like I said, get out to Ransomville. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm out at Humberstone and try to spend more of that night pit side to try and grab some stories from the people actually making the waves, making the history on Sunday night at Humberstone. That's the plan for the podcast and for the show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate the support. For those that have bought stickers for the Southern Ontario Dirt Show Sods Pod sticker campaign, the Sticker Star campaign, if I owe you an interview, please remind me. I think I have everybody on my list of who I need to hit over the next couple of weeks who has bought a sticker. And if you do buy a sticker, don't forget, $5 for one, $10 for 3 stickers. Throw it on your race car if you've got one. We'll get you on the show. We'll give you an interview, give you a chance to shout out the drivers, the crew members, the sponsors, the partnerships, everybody who helps get you to the racetrack. Because sometimes you don't get a chance to thank them because, maybe you finish 4th all the time instead of getting that 1 or 2 extra spots you need for an interview on the podium. Doesn't mean you're any less thankful to your partners, right? So we want to give a chance for everyone to have an opportunity to thank their partners and talk about the people that get them to the racetrack each and every week. So hopefully, if you can support me in the sticker program, we'd appreciate it. One last thing to touch on. Kind of relaunched my own, I don't want to say my own racing career, but I got back behind the wheel of a go-kart at Ransomville Speedway. Appreciate Scott Just, Dave Just, everybody in the Just family, Christine for doing the tires, Raylan and Jamie for being awesome driver coaches for a guy who has not driven a go-kart in over a year. Had a blast racing in the senior heavies. Driver just was a little rusty, needed to be a bit more aggressive. I got moved at one point while running the B main. I was in a position to transfer, got moved out of the transfer spot, fell all the way back. A couple guys took each other out. I got moved back up. I was on the doorstep of making it into the A main, and I was like, oh, I got some time. I think I can maybe set him up and make a pass in a lap or two. I had a chance to move the driver in front of me. I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry. I know the cart number was 77. I'm sorry, I forget your name if you tune into the show. Cart number was 77. I had a chance to move the 77, and I was on him, and I was like, oh, I don't need to do this. I'll be, respectful, clean, all that sort of stuff. And then the checkered flag fell because I miscounted my laps. So driver's racecraft was the main issue. But beyond that, car was pretty good, except we left a restrictor plate on for hot laps, which again, driver didn't know the difference, was wondering why he was so much slower than everybody else down the straightaways, but then was basically flat through the corners. So I basically kept up pretty good through the corners, but the speedway, the straightaway speed was hurting, and I didn't know what was wrong until it was too late in practice, and basically my heat race became my practice session, and a lot of learning on the track, but it's very possible, very likely that I am going to have a kart program next year. I'm going to be racing hopefully Tuesday nights at Maryville regularly or somewhat regularly. So I'll put it out to you. If there's anybody who wants to jump on board and be a partner on my go-kart program that's listening right now, would love it, would really appreciate it. Even karting is not a cheap adventure, but I'm really interested in making it happen. And I love the idea of being able to at least have the experience of being on a dirt track, driving ovals, developing my own kind of racecraft and strategy so I can understand the sport and understand racing that much more, even from just a go-kart seat. So if you want to be a partner on the program, let me know. You can shoot a message. You can shoot us an email at SODSPod, SODS_POD. You can follow me at Jonathon on air, JONATHON. That's how you spell Jonathon for the record. And also, you can send us an email with whatever you want to know, any topics that come to mind. If you strongly disagree with something on the show and you want to curse me out, Southern Ontario Dirt Show at gmail.com. You can send an email there. I do check that email somewhat often, fairly often. Mostly it's just spam at this point, so I don't have too much to bring up on it. But if somebody sends in an email, it's absolutely getting read on the show. So please don't hesitate to reach out. But weird week. I felt like as much action there was on the track, there was arguably more action in the comment sections, and I'm not a fan of trying to race and trying to debate in comment sections. I'd rather see cars on the racetrack. So hopefully Mother Nature plays along for the rest of the weekend when we get all the major shows in that are scheduled for this week. And appreciate everybody tuning in to the show and enjoying my little rants today. Can't wait to get back to Maryville Speedway tomorrow. 5 classes of action in. I will be there on the call. We'll see you at the races this weekend, and appreciate you following the show and your support as always.
And the checkered is out on another episode of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, presented by Van Sickle Pet Value and Lundy's Lane Pet Value. Like what you hear? Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Connect with us on Facebook at Southern Ontario Dirt Show, or find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at SODS_pod. Have a question for the show? Email us at southernontariodirtshow@gmail.com. Thanks for supporting local racing in Southern Ontario, and we'll see you at the track.